right, today we're going to learn what's called the ladder method to find our greatest common factor and least common multiple. We have to use, this is a form of prime factorization that we're using. So we're going to start off with our first prime number, which is 2, and we're going to keep dividing with 2 until we can't do it anymore. Then we're going to go to the next prime number, which is 3. And after that, 5, 7, and so on. And as long as I can divide both numbers by that prime number, we will continue. But once we've run out of prime numbers, that means we're done. And that will tell us our greatest common factor and least common multiple. So if I look at 24 and 36, I know I can divide both of those by 2. So 2 goes into 24 12 times. 2 goes into 3 1 time. That leaves, here's the way I'm thinking about it. Take 2 away from 3, that leaves a 1. That leaves me with a 16. 2 goes into 16 8 times. Okay? Then I know I can divide by 2 again. They're both even numbers. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 2 goes into 18 9 times. All right. So I'm looking, can I divide both of those by 2? The answer is no, but I can divide both of those by 3, so I'm going to continue. So I'm going to divide that by 3, so 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. And then I'm looking at what I have left over here. I can divide this by 2, but I can't divide that one by 2, so 2's out. I can't divide, I can't divide both of those by 3, so we're done. So the beauty of this is this will tell us both our greatest common factor and least common multiple very quickly. So what I need to do is I will multiply these 3 together. So to get my greatest common factor, that's going to be equal to 2 times 2 times 3, so 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 equals 12. Okay? And if I look at the factors of 24 and the factors of 36, we will see that our greatest common factor is 12. To find our least common multiple, and least common multiple means 24 times 1, 24 times 2, 24 times 3, and so on. And 36 times 1, 36 times 2, 36 times 3, and so on. How far out do we need to go before those two numbers match? Well, to find my least common multiple, it's going to be all of these numbers multiplied together. Okay? Now, I already know that this is 12, so all we need to do is figure out what is 12 times 6. So it's really going to be 2 times 2 times 3, which is what we started with, times 2 times 3. Okay? And that's going to give us our least common multiple. So we have 12 times 6, which is 72. That's going to be our least common multiple. Okay? All right, the next thing I'd like you to do is try this example right here. Okay? Now remember, we always start off with the first prime number and see if it works. Will 2 work on both of those numbers? If not, you go on to the next prime number, which is 3. And after that, you go on to 5, and so on and so forth. Okay? Let's see if you can find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple using this technique. So stop the video now and see how well you do. All right, let's go ahead and see how you did. I'm looking at both of those numbers. I know I can't divide both of those by 2 because I'm looking at the ones place, that's a 5. So not divisible by 2, not divisible by 2, so I need to go on to the next prime number, which is a 3. I know 3 goes into 30. Will it go into 45? Well, here's where our divisibility rules from week 1 come in handy. 4 plus 5 is 9. I know 3 we'll divide into 9 3 times with a remainder of 0. So I use the sum of the digits. So I know that is divisible by 3, so that'll be my first prime number. 3 goes into 30 10 times. 3 goes into 4 1 time. If I take 3 away from 4, that leaves 1 remainder. So I'm left with a 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. All right. So now I'm looking here. This is what I'm left with. 3 does not go into both of those. So I'm going to go with the next prime number, which is 5. And yes, 5 will work. So 5 goes into 10 2 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And already I can't divide those by 2 or 3, so I know I'm done and I haven't made any mistakes. So remember, greatest common factor will be this side right here. So our greatest common factor for these two numbers is 15. And let me go ahead and make sure we understand. It is 3 times 5, which is 15. And then my least common multiple is going to be all of these digits here, which is going to equal 3 times 5, which is, I already know, is 15. 15 times 2, 15 times 2 is 30, times 3, so I know is going to be 90. So 90 is going to be my least common multiple. And when we think 30 times 3 is 90, 45 times 2 is also 90. All right? So this is a quick way to do it. You're going to do a lot of this in the middle school as well. And why do we want to know greatest common factor and least common multiple? When it comes to reducing fractions, getting common denominators for fractions, these are some important skills that you're going to want to learn how to do. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 more on the board here. And what I want you to do is go ahead and practice with these 2. All right, now that we've done that one, I'm going to have a couple more problems for you to practice. I want you to try and find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple for 60 and 35, as if those were your denominators, and also for 20 and 24. So go ahead and stop the video, and let's see how well you've done. All right, well, hopefully you've tried that at home. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how we're going to do this. I know that both of these not divisible by 2, divisible by 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. The sum of those digits is 8, so I know that's not divisible by 3. So we go to the next number, which is 5. So 5 goes into 60. I know that goes in there 12 times. 5 goes into 35 7 times. Now, we're going to go ahead and look here. Not divisible by 2, not divisible by 3, not divisible by 4, or next prime number is 7. We're done. That's it. That's the most we can do. So, for this one, our greatest common factor is only 5. That's the greatest common factor that they have. Now, for least common multiple, it's going to be 5 times 12 times 7. Now I know 5 times 12 is 60, and 60 times 7, and here's where that base 10 comes in handy. 6 times 7 is 42, add the 0, so our least common multiple for these two numbers is 420. All right, let's look and see how did you do with 20 and 24 now. I know they're both even, so I know I can divide them both by 2. 2 goes into 20 10 times, 2 goes into 24 12 times. I still have a couple of even numbers there. I'm going to keep going, dividing by 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 12 6 times. Not even number, so I'm going to go to the next prime number, which is 3. 3 does not go into both of those. 5 will not go into both of those. Hey, we're done already there too. Going by pretty fast. So, what is our greatest common factor for these two? It's just 2 times 2, which means our greatest common factor is 4. And then, what is our least common multiple? Well, our least common multiple is going to be 2 times 2, which I know is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And 20 times 6 is going to be 120, which is going to be our least common multiple. 2 times 2 times 5 times 6. I hope this makes your life a little bit easier. And go ahead and keep practicing.